Oh, blimey, I'm on already. Evening, Tracy. How are you? Oh, gosh. I think you're on the wonk. Hold on. It pays to be exact about these things. Oh, my goodness gracious, man. Oh, it's a threesome now, Trace. You, me, and Jimmy. Hello, Jimmy. All right, darlings. I won't keep you very long. We'll crack on until midnight or just after. How was Mustard's live tonight? My night has been ah, crazy. Crazy. What I was actually doing just then when Tracy's message popped up was I was replying to a customer complaint, a well founded customer complaint from a regular customer as well. So, yeah, I'm going to have to do some Herculean phoning. The one good thing about doing a live stream earlier today was that my kitchen is the cleanest it's been for quite a while, actually. So that's good. Oh, there's a few people popping along now, so that's good. My goodness gracious me. 5 of you. Oh, God, I've still got my Ken Dodd wig on. Oh, dear. And I don't know what the weather's like. Oh, sorry, guys. Short sleep last night. I don't know what the weather's like with you, but I drove home. It was beautiful. When I drove to work, it was warm. It was bright sunshine. It was lovely. Had my jacket off. I'm in just in my shirt. Beautiful. And then coming home tonight, I went through the most insane rainstorm. Even with my wipers on double speed, I had to slow down to pretty much to walking speed or running speed anyway. Simply couldn't see where I was. Mustard's live was good, not too many morons. Hopefully, I managed to please the regulars. And apparently, I used to be mad at Jimmy. Yeah. How was work, Boaty, tonight? Crazy. Absolutely bloody crazy. Just balmy. Balmy. Fully booked restaurant, overbooked restaurant, as it turned out. Takeaways, mad. Didn't have quite the right team in. Um, yeah, just I am absolutely slaughtered. Very windy here. The block is swaying 20 degrees, but chilly because of the wind. Ah, okay. Well, I hope you've all had a decent day anyway. Pardon me if I just do a bit of sorting out while I talk to you. Those need to go in the fridge. Right. And then I need to sort my cutting out, don't I? Right, here's a question for you. Now, I've had to really batten down the old hatches here because uh, I need to sort fuel out for Monday and Tuesday. So I haven't been shopping. Well, I mean, I have. I bought 2 bottles of wine. I mean, the essentials have to be there, don't they? But I haven't bought any food. Now, tomorrow lunchtime, a live a live question for you. Should I have, because it's going to be a jump up the ladder door. Now, I could cobble together a kind of Sunday roast. I've got some chicken that I can defrost, some garlic and mustard chicken. I could defrost that overnight. I've got a couple of potatoes, so I could make roast or mashed or boiled potatoes. Um, I've got some. I think I've got some frozen green beans. I know that goes against the grain rather, frozen vegetables, but they're there for emergencies. And I could make some stuffing. Or should I forget about Sunday lunch and have, I don't know how to describe it. I've got, again, from the freezer, every penny's going to have to be diverted towards fuel. That's why I've not bought anything. I've got doesn't look very appetizing like that, does it? But that is, it's a kind of Nepali stew. So there's 3 goodly chunks of chicken in there, in a kind of Nepali stew type sauce. And I could have that because I've got those couple of potatoes, so I could have that with some homemade chips. That'd be a nice lunch, wouldn't it? Tomorrow night's supper, that's taken care of. I've got momo, and I've got some. We made a fresh batch of momo chutney last night, the night before. So I was careful to I was going to say nick, but liberate pot. So that's tomorrow night sorted. But what do you reckon I should do for lunch? Well, plenty of tips tonight, Boaty, asked Jimmy. Not personal tips, no. The way the tips work at our restaurant is they get pooled and then they get shared out once a month with everybody. But obviously, if I take any deliveries, then sometimes you get the odd tip there. Not like the old days. Now, when I was delivering pizzas when I was a student about 70 years ago, everybody paid cash and everybody used to tip you. These days, everybody pays by card. Most of them order from an app, and the art of tipping seems to be a lost one. I did have to go out and do some deliveries tonight. I had a driver tonight, but I had to go out and do some myself as well. And I think I got about £6 in tips. So I'm not booking a holiday. God, I've only just caught up with this afternoon's live, says Barry Scrotter. Didn't see it, but I've left you loads of comments. Oh, thank you, Barry. I'll work through those. And hello all and floaty. Shite weather here, says Jimmy F500. Didn't go out at all. It's been windy all day, says Barry. God, it's so windy here as well. I've been out trying to catch non-existent fish down the canal. Mr. Stephen Paddy from Port Sunlight in the Whittle, the Leisure Peninsula, says, what time are you setting off, Jason, on your road trip to make sure and remember the old days where you grew up? Oh, God. Well, the honest answer to that is as early as I can, but it's probably going to be, I'm so tired on a Monday. So tired, the weekend really catches up with you. Well, it's the end of the week for me, isn't it? It's 6 nights and days of work, culminating in the weekend with the late nights and the harder work. And on Mondays, I am just knackered. So as much as I would love to say that, I'll get a better, I can't go to bed early because I don't get home from work until God knows what time on a Sunday night. And if any of you work evenings or whatever, or even nights, you'll know that you can't come home and just say, right, I'll go straight to bed, or right, I'll just eat and go straight to bed. You need a bit of time to chill out before you get your appetite. And then you need a little bit of time to chill out before you go to bed. And you just kind of need that. So I'm not going to be going to bed early on Sunday. I'm not going to have the opportunity. And Monday morning, I'm going to be shattered. Now, ideally, I would get to the yard earlier on a Monday than I do, but realistically, it's all I can do to get up, get sorted, do the jobs in the house that I need to do, and leave the house for 11, which gets me to the yard at 12:30. It's good, but leaving at 11 is going to get me to Wales at about 3:30. And that's assuming that I don't stop to get anything to eat or go to the loo. Or whatever. So yeah, that's why I left the trip until after the clocks had gone. So at least I can get maybe 4 or 5 hours of worthwhile light, and then I'd be able to get 3 or 4 hours on Tuesday morning before I need to set off back so that I can be back to the restaurant for work on Tuesday night. So that's the honest answer to that. I would leave earlier if I possibly could, but I'm aware that I'm unlikely to leave before 11. Hi, Jason. How are you? Oh, it's Sarah Parsons, the lovely Sarah. Hello, Sarah. I'm okay, thank you. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well as well. I always tip 10% of the delivery driver, says Jimmy Quinn. My God, if everybody did that, Jimmy, then all delivery drivers would be a lot better off. Morgan Morecambe says, perfect song for Boaty. I Saw the Light by Todd Rundgren. Give it a listen. I think I kind of know that one. Now, it's hard when you say perfect song for me, because back in the day, when somebody said perfect song for me, they meant that it would be a perfect song for me to sing, to put into my set, to put into my act. Now, I guess it means something perfect for me to listen to. You are banned, says Trace, from live streaming at all tomorrow. Apart from your work in the evening, you need to rest all the other hours. Oh, right. Okay. No live streams tomorrow, darlings. I'll live stream on Monday night, whatever state I'm in. It's tradition, isn't it? When the couple of nights that I've been in a hotel, I mean, I even live streamed after that mad day with Neil and Soph and John when we were all shattered and seriously drunk. That was a funny one. You might like to meet up with Hubnut. Isn't he and family in Wales? They are, Jimmy F. They are, but I don't know them and they don't know me. I know of them, and I know that they know of me, but we don't know each other. And anyway, I'm not going to have time. I'm only going to be, realistically, real is tickly. How long am I going to have there? If I'm not getting there till 3:30 or 4, whenever it happens to be, I will leave earlier if I can, but I've got to be realistic about it. It's a 4.5-hour journey for me. And again, because of the money and fuel situation, I can't rush the journey. I'm going to have to hype a mile. So that means I'm planning to do the journey wherever possible, slipstreaming an articulated lorry or a coach and doing like 55 or 57 or 60 miles an hour to make it as economical as possible. So I haven't got time to meet anybody else. I mean, I know that I need to scale down what I'm going to get done. Yeah, I've been thinking about this. I do need to scale it down. So I always said that episode 1 would be called The Family Mountain. It's changed now. I'm going directly to meet Sean, and then we'll do the drive from wherever he is. And I don't know exactly where he is. I mean, I know roughly where he is, but I don't know exactly, because very sensibly, he's a very private man. But we'll be meeting up somewhere near to where he lives, I imagine. And then we'll be driving from there over Treherbert Mountain, down into down through Rickhouse and through Hidwine, and then we'll be heading out on the Brecon Road. And then when we hit Libanus, we'll be throwing a left and kind of coming back on ourselves to go literally right over the top of the beacons and up the mad road to the old family mountain. And I think that's probably going to be it for Monday. But then the weather could screw that up. I mean, if it was a rainstorm like it was here tonight, there's no way you could film in that. Not outside anyway. You'd have to just film in the car and there'd be nothing to see. So God only knows. So there's not going to be that much that can be done. And then, a bit of filming the next day, assuming I can get my ass out of bed in the hotel. I'm normally good at getting up in hotels because you're on unfamiliar territory, so you don't tend to sleep in to the same extent, especially if you fell off a Liverpudlian in the wee small hours. But I've not even thought about what else to film. I've just thought, well, Sean's got ideas. I'll pretty much just leave it to him and do what I'm told. That's unfair. That makes it sound unfair. Do what I'm advised or what he very kindly suggests. Maybe episode 1 should ask as many questions as it gives answers. Maybe it should be a teaser to what should and could be coming, in order to suck people in. Maybe you should, because I would love it to be an ongoing thing, but I would need people to get into it, to create an income stream from it, in order to fund doing the next ones. Not huge amounts of money, but a little bit of money, because I'm doing this one on money that I haven't got, quite honestly. Might get easier as we go further into the year, if we get a few cars sold and if the old heating bills come down and that sort of thing. But yeah, all I've got in my mind is the family mountain. And if the weather's going to be, the forecast says it's going to be raining all the time, so we've got to be prepared for that. But even if it's constant rain, then it will probably go through phases of being lighter and harder. So I might have to hang about for the lighter bit so I can actually get outside and film. And the rest of it, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Barry Scrotter says, give me a 500. I tried meeting Hubnut once. He has an electric fence and a cattle prod. Oh, and landmines. Hello, everyone, says Captain Mustard. Right. I don't know what they're all talking about. I think they're all talking about stuff that went on Mustard's live stream. Barry is suggesting that I break into Hubnut's barn and pinch his Invercar. I haven't got time, and I don't particularly covet the Invercar. In fact, there aren't any. The only car of Hubnut that I quite like would be the GSA, and that's the wrong colour. To be honest with you, The car that I'm most excited about at the moment is the 623. I'm really looking forward to having a road trip away with that. And part of me is hoping that it all fails so that I then have to keep to my word, sell all of my cars, and buy the 623 and just have that as my only car. You can save money, says Mr. Stephen Paddy, by pissing in the tank. Save petrol. Hope it goes well. You've been looking forward to it. Imagine a road sign pointing towards the cottage from the main road. Warning, regular boating man. What are you all talking about? What are you all talking about? That's the problem with these bloody mustard live streams that I can't watch. And it's like you're all doing some secret squirrel, secret language stuff, like in jokes. And I don't know what the bloody hell you're talking about. I'm not part of it. I feel left out. I feel excluded. Quite honestly, I feel slightly bullied. Oh, hello, Sean. My goodness me, you're up late. Any news on the new job? No. No. I've batted it away, really. Well, there might be, there might be more discussion about it tomorrow night. Bishnu hasn't been at the restaurant yesterday or today. He will be there. I mean, he's never there normally. It's only because we're the regular member of staff down. Oh, and he's being replaced, by the way. We've got a new guy coming. He's in Japan at the moment. But he's a Nepalese guy. He's currently running a restaurant in Japan, and he is coming to us. We're just sorting about a visa at the moment, and he's going to be the full-time man at our restaurant. He's experienced. If he's been working in Japan, then God knows he'll understand the art of extending courtesy and respect to the guests. So that's good. He's a young chap. He's only 29 or 30. I don't know exactly. I know from the sorting the visa application for him that he was born in 1994. But no real news on the job. I don't really want to talk about it or think about it, because if by any remote chance this Welsh thing that you've so kindly got on board with and actually made possible, Sean, it wouldn't, as it turns out, it wouldn't have been possible were it not for you. If this looks as if it could in any way pay dividends, then it's not really going to be an issue. I would really want to carry on as I am, or at the very least, then the job thing would need to be seriously mitigated. In that I might rock, for example, I might rock up to the other restaurant, which is where my office would be. I might rock up there at like 3 o'clock, and do a couple of hours of office space before going on to my restaurant, and do that 5 days a week, something like that. I don't know, but sure, you know how it is. You have your little mad dream, and you kind of fixate on it a little bit too much, because you think, well, maybe the universe will be kind to me if I really make the effort. I mean, I'm very lucky. With my Nepali family and the restaurant situation, because ultimately they are always there's always going to be an incredible degree of flexibility, and I work around them, and they will always work around me. And of course, let's not forget, and this is genuine. This is genuine. They've known about the YouTube thing from day one. They're totally on board with it, and every single one of them has done everything they can to support me. Well, short of actually sponsoring the channel. And they literally pray to their God. We don't share the same God, but hopefully their God has got a bit of influence. They actually pray that I will be successful. That they talk about it every night. They know all of my figures. They know when I'm live streaming. They know what videos I'm doing. I don't suppose they actually watch them. They have been known to pop onto the live streams. Their only fear is that if YouTube did work, that I would get rid of that side of things entirely, and I never would. Their family, they got me through some of my toughest times. I would never do that. No matter how well things were going, I would never turn my back on that. So as long as I'm involved in some way, shape or form, they will be happy. And if I became a little bit more successful at YouTube, that would only bring them happiness. They also know how skint I am and how skint I've been. And as I say, they've got me through some times. I mean, I've told you before, at the when the pandemic all kicked off, I went 5 days with no food. And that is not a pleasant thing to do. And I do literally mean no food. I didn't eat anything for, I think it was 5 days. It was most certainly 4. And they got me out of that situation, even though the restaurant was closed. And they know I'm skint, and when I need, they literally know the ins and outs. They know when a direct debit bounces. They know when I haven't got when I haven't had money to put on the meter to heat the place in winter. And obviously that's done via an app these days. So I live in the arse end of nowhere. I've got to explain for those who don't know. I have a prepayment gas meter because I ran up a massive gas bill and couldn't pay it. Chinese madam was partly responsible for that. And they, went through the normal thing, got a court order, and a prepayment meter was fitted. So you pay for your gas before you actually use it, and a portion of the payment goes towards paying off what you owe. And also remember that if you just think I'm some absolute idiot who can't manage his finances and runs too many cars, do remember that the debt that I'm in is historical, mostly, and it dates back to the time when I had my accident. I was unable to work. I had no income. My father died. Had to pay for a funeral. Blah blah blah, and it relates back to all of that time. And because I don't earn because I don't earn a lot of money, I've not been able to sort that out very quickly. It's still a work in progress. Getting there. I mean, one thing I did do, I was in a similar situation with my electricity. I owed the electricity company £3,000 about that one, and that was mostly Chinese madam's fault. I was doing okay with the electricity until Chinese madam came, spent a year here, and the amount of electricity that she used was just unreal. The woman had 5 showers a day, and they cost about £2 a time. So I'm kind of getting there. £3,000 out of the electricity, that's gone. That is the one that I've totally cleared. I'm completely up to date with that now, but I'm still behind with quite a few others. Why am I talking about this? You don't want to hear about it. Oh yeah, I was talking about the guys at work. So yeah, they're totally on board, and they would say that, like, if I had, I don't know, if I got 10 or 20 quid in cash tips or something like that, they'd say, do you want me to transfer that money into your bank instead so you can put some gas on your meter? Things like that. So it means that I'm quite lucky. It means that I've got a lot of flexibility when it comes to the restaurants, depending on how YouTube or anything else that I do or try to do is doing. And as I say, if it reaches the point where I have to say that, okay, YouTube has to just be a very, very part-time hobby, doing the live streams, doing the odd video, then in that case, then yeah, I take the sensible pill, and I'd push to take a job where I do the day-to-day management, office-based, 10 till 4, or whatever it happens to be. If YouTube was showing some promise, then that would be a different box of bananas. And there are other things to throw into the mix as well. I still want to do the Airbnb thing at Ripley. The huge space upstairs is still completely empty. It's still completely damp. It's still completely overrun with rodents, apparently. But you've seen the pictures. You can see the potential. And we just need the landlord to shit or get off the pot to decide if he's going to throw however much it is, probably 40 or 50 grand at the building to future-proof it and to get it absolutely up and running, and to continue to lease it to us on a commercial basis. Or do they just want to get rid of the headache completely and sell it to us? Bishnu would buy that tomorrow. And I can't remember if I told you this before. I think I said I probably couldn't, but it's quite late at night now. And it involves a slightly racial slur. But Bish said to me, I know that he would sell it to me before anybody else. I said, oh, why is that, Bish? He said, because he is a gentleman from a certain country. He said, and I'll pay cash. It's a weird thing, The company took on Ripley 8 years ago and signed a long-term commercial lease. Things have changed in those 8 years. 8 years ago, when Ripley started, then taking on the lease was about the limit. Things have changed a lot now. If the landlord turned around and said tomorrow that, okay, I'll sell it to you, bring the money round in a brown paper bag by 4 o'clock, wouldn't be a problem. Bish has done very, very well. Very well. I mean, he's got the restaurants are just, they were the start for him, and they're his like pet projects. But Bish makes a lot of money in a lot of other ways. In fact, after our recent heart-to-heart, he makes money in ways I didn't even know about. I knew about the expanding property portfolio. I knew about the building things. I didn't know he ran a bloody transport company in Nepal, or that he owned a chain of shops. But there you are. There you are. So I don't know. But that's the bottom line. I'm very lucky. They love me. They want the best for me. And at the moment, I want the YouTube thing, or I would like the YouTube thing to work. No, I don't want to become JM on cars. I would just like it to work a little bit better than it does now. Or actually, in monetary terms, I would like it to do 10 times better than it is at the moment. I would like 10 times more views and 10 times more monthly income. So that instead of being a bit of virtually unnoticeable pocket money, it could actually form a reasonable part of my mixed income. And then I would happily mix it in with whatever else it is that I'm doing. So that's enough of that anyway, isn't it? Where did I get to? Terrible wind and rain. Oh, terrible wind and rain in the Rhondda. Sean, if you were watching earlier, it's horrendous here. I drove home through a rainstorm that was so severe, I had to slow down to walking pace because there was zero vision ahead. The rain was bouncing off the road. There were immediate flash floods, and the wind is howling, and I do mean howling. So it's no different here. Oh, okay. Apparently it's not a secret scriddle thing on Mustard's live stream. Apparently it's all on here. There we are. I'm not mad, but my imaginary friend might be so stressed. Dreams are what keep people going, Boaty says, Barry. Yeah, but at some point you have to stop dreaming and live in the real world, don't you? Because the real world is always there. I mean, I'm lucky, I'm blessed. I've been able to indulge my dreams, and to be honest, I tend to back my dreams because, as I think I said in another live stream, and this is going to sound incredibly immodest, but I haven't failed at anything yet, which sounds a ridiculous thing to say, but I haven't. My first dream was, and my lifelong dream was to be paid for riding a bicycle very quickly, and that happened. Okay, it didn't end well, injury and early retirement. That's unfortunate, but it did happen, so I wasn't stupid. And then I dreamed of playing with cars and being paid for that, and that happened as well, and happened rather well. And then I decided it might be fun to be paid to sing at people, and that happened. And then I decided it might be fun to have an entertainment agency, a promotions company. That all happened. I thought it might be fun to do some stuff on the radio and some stuff on TV. That all happened. I thought it would be when I got a slight reignition of my love for things cycling and decided that it would be quite cool to, in my 30s, to go back and to become a dealer in the things that excited me in my teenage years when I couldn't afford them. I thought that might be fun. And I thought it'd be cool to travel around Europe looking for these treasures and then selling them at insane markups. That all happened as well. And if you think I'm bullshitting, by the way, you can look at all these things. I'm sure even I think I'm lying some of the time, but do a search at Companies House. That'll show you. That'll give you background on in terms of my in terms of the companies. Just do a Google search for my stage name. That'll show you something. Do a search for the other stuff. It's all there. Have a look at my eBay account. I've still got the same eBay account that I had when I was doing all of the European stuff. So if you doubted me, just go back and look through the feedback or look at the figures. So the point is, if I dream about something now, then I automatically think, well, yeah, that's okay. You can dream that because you'll do it. But YouTube is something totally different. And I'm an old man, and I haven't got my looks anymore. God Almighty, I certainly haven't got my looks anymore. I haven't got looks. I haven't got youth. I haven't got any of the things that carried me through. I can't even speak properly. I've got a bloody speech impediment because my teeth fell out, for God's sake. So, I have to be aware that this might be one dream too far. But again, as I've said before, even if it were to be, it wouldn't matter, because the whole YouTube thing, every minute that I've put into it has been worthwhile because of this. And this would never go. The community thing, that would always be there. I would never lose that. The live streams will always be there. There will be some sort of videos there. The real life community meetups. And do remember that if you would like to come along and meet me in person, you can do so either at the Great British Car Journey on Saturday the 13th of April, or if anybody fancies it, let's meet up for Sunday lunch at my local pub on Sunday the 14th of April. Treat yourselves to a nice trip out to the Peak District National Park. It's lovely. Well, it'll probably piss down. How many people, asked Jimmy at 500, can say a good word about their employer? That's good to be able to say. Yeah, I mean, they're just family. They're literally just family. They literally love me, and I literally love them. And I've done everything I can to be good for them, and they've certainly been good for me. And we're all in it together. Anything I ask them for, they won't say no. And funnily enough, when you have a situation where anything you ask for, they won't say no, you tend not to ask for things, weirdly, because you don't want to take the piss. I did think, when I was driving home tonight, I did think about saying to Bish, I'll be working with Bish tomorrow night, and I did think about sort of saying to him, look, how about you sponsor the first Welsh episode? Not a huge amount of money. Just how about give me 150 quid, which would cover all of my fuel, and you'll get sponsorship on the video. This video is brought to you by, well, whatever it would be, but I won't. I was lucky, says Barry Scratter. The pandemic sort of got me a job. But yeah, the pandemic did a lot of harm to a lot of people. It was only the first 2 weeks that were difficult for me. We closed the restaurant, and it came at a really bad time because I just split up with Boo, and it must have happened a week before actually, I think it happened at about the same time. It was because Boo and I split up twice. We split up temporarily, and then we split up permanently. And I think this was the first temporary split up, and it must have happened just before lockdown. And we closed the restaurant for 2 weeks, as it turned out. I think it was 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks. And I was here at Windy Bottom. If I'd have been at the Cabbage Patch, wouldn't have been a problem. But, I'd kind of put my foot down with a firm hand and said, look, I can't deal with this and this and this, and I really need you to work with me and make an effort, and so on and so on and so on. And so I was here, and we took food from the restaurant because anything that couldn't be long-term saved um, or couldn't be served because otherwise it would go to waste. And so I was stuck here with no income for however long it was, and hoping that the restaurant would reopen. And I hoped it would reopen after a week. I remember saying to Bish, I said, look, when something like this happens, when the shit hits the fan and something fundamental happens, then there will be two types of people and two types of businesses. There'll be the people that go under, and there will be the people that make it really, really work for them, and they will actually thrive, even though the situation as a whole is terrible. I mean, you think about it, and I'll tell you what I was thinking about at the time. I was thinking about Dad's Army. And you remember, what was his name? The Spiv character in Dad's Army. I can't remember. But he made a fortune on the black market because of rationing in the Second World War. He'd never have been able to do that otherwise. And that's the kind of thing that I was thinking of. And I remember saying to Bish, I did some calculations in terms of staff costs and whatnot. And I said, and I'm not particularly clever. I think most other restaurants, probably all other restaurants in the UK, had the same idea. And I said, look, right, if this continues, then A, people are going to be stuck at home. B, they're not going to want to be cooking all the time. And C, bizarrely, if things go on as I think they will, they're actually probably going to have more disposable income rather than less. Partly because they're not going to be spending money if they're going to be working from home. I can't remember if furlough had come in at this point, but I did figure that people were going to be a lot of people were going to be working remotely and so on. And I just thought there was an opportunity. So I said, look, don't stay closed. Be one of the first to reopen on a takeaway delivery only basis. Run the restaurant with a skeleton of staff. And if I've done my sums correctly, then it could actually become more profitable than running it as a restaurant with a little bit of luck and a following wind. At the very least, we should wipe our faces in terms of the expenses, and then we can just crack on when it all blows over, which turned out to take a while. And I hoped that would happen in a week, and it didn't. And the food ran out here, which is why I went without eating. We reopened after 2 weeks. We did all of the things that I suggested. And as I thought would happen, we pretty much thrived. Yeah, our profits were at least the same and normally slightly up by running just delivery only. Or we did collections as well, but you had to police that very carefully. But it was a totally takeaway only thing for however long it went on. I can't remember now. And then, of course, they did that ridiculous fucking eat out to help out bollocks. And there was the structured reopening and all of that. And I wish that they would listen to me. I've told you all a million times, there is no Nepali restaurant in Sheffield. And I desperately want to open a dark kitchen on the southern edge of Sheffield in an industrial estate. I could set the whole thing up for 10 grand, which in Bish news, if Bish dropped 10 grand on the floor, he'd think twice about whether he could be bothered to bend down and pick it up. It's pennies. I mean, this is a man who's just paid, literally in the last couple of weeks, he's just paid, oh God, an inordinate amount of money, a couple of £100,000 for his brother's wedding. He's the oldest brother, so he takes on the responsibility for all of the family. So he literally pays for everybody and everything. Set up a dark kitchen under the same brand. So not a restaurant, not even a takeaway, not a retail establishment, just a kitchen on an industrial unit with an internet and 2 or 3 phone lines, and just do deliveries only, and cover with a fleet of drivers, cover the whole of Sheffield where there isn't a Nepali restaurant, and it would fly. It would fly, but I can't get them to do it. Right. What time is it? Oh, God, it's 12:30. I'd better get through some comments and we'd all better head off, haven't we? My employers pay me well, says Barry, but I'm not exactly in love with them. Well, I mean, that's normal, isn't it? Hello, I'm the manager of Weatherspoons. We had to kick someone called Miss Greenwood out of our pub the other day for throwing sausages at old men saying, I want your sausage. And that is from Tifa Best Pal. Oh, okay. Who is well, oh, well Downing Estella. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, Barry says, I got left with 30 grand of personal debt whilst having to pay child maintenance. Historical debt, I know how it feels. It's a bugger, isn't it? It's a bugger. Hello again, says Neil. Sorry for being late. Oh, don't be sorry. I wasn't even planning to do this. Give it 3 years, as I've said before, and it's party time. Yeah, let's all throw a party. Oh, dear. Oh, my God. Oh, Simone is here. Hello, Simone. Oh, Sean. Good views on that video where you showed your face in the first few seconds. Okay, right. I will admit something here. I will admit something. I watched a video. I think it was one after that, a Daily Diary video where the video just opened with the dash cam view and me talking, and with those words ringing around my head. And yeah, they were better views, Sean. With those words, I thought, yeah, I get it now. That is totally wrong. To have a video open where it's just a voice and a view from a windscreen, totally wrong. Totally wrong. You absolutely need that initial point of contact with whoever is making the video. So I totally get that now. Taking that on board, won't make that mistake again. I don't know why I've never seen it before. Probably because I'm stupid. Or because I just think, well, the diary videos, they just go out to everybody and knows what I look like anyway. But yeah, looking at it with those eyes, it looks weird when a video starts, completes, and finishes, and you don't see the person who's making the video. Now, if you're doing a video about a boxing match or World War II, that's fine. But when it's a channel, an eponymous channel named after the presenter, and showing his day-to-day life, it's ridiculous when you don't see him. So I was very stupid, and yeah, I won't make that mistake again. Interesting. Sean again. I know people who have done much better on the YouTube after taking a break for a few weeks or months, just to step back and rethink. Yep, that makes sense. Well, I've decided I'm not going to put any videos up over the next however long, week, or maybe even 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I'll do the live streams and obviously the Welsh thing, and probably Boaties Noshes, because Nobody watches it, but the 3 people who do watch it complained when I stopped doing it. So yeah, it does make sense to have a pause and a rethink, and to give the Welsh thing a chance. Because also, I don't want the Welsh thing to be drowned out by a load of other crappy daily videos that are just going to sink them. Or if people subscribe to the Welsh thing and then watch one of those and think, "Oh, I don't want to watch this," God Almighty, all he does is drive to work and cook noodles. So it makes sense to step back from that for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I think do Monday and Tuesday, and then I'm committed, in my mind at least, to doing episode 2 as well, and I'm going to do that in the beautiful Rover 623, which you should buy that, Sean. Actually, it's a fabulous car. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I need to stop overthinking it, and I just need to think this is something I want to do. It's going to be fabulous to be back home. I'm going to meet an amazing, hopefully new friend who I'm convinced I'm going to like very, very much indeed. And I'm going to fulfill my thing of sharing my home with you lot. And that's all I need to think about. Don't need to think about any more than that. Oh, Neil says, oh, hang on. Barry says, I've seen Boaty in real life and he seemed much smaller. Well, you have seen me in real life. Yeah, we met each other at the yard. I didn't realise that I seemed smaller. I mean, I'm 6'5" and 31 stone. So, and that's in real life. So, I don't know how big you thought I was. Neil said, just saying, my mum and dad are coming with me and Sophie and Joe on the Saturday the 13th. So, best behaviour is needed. You can trust me, sir. Oh, yes. Oh, dear. Oh, it was Private Walker. Thank you. Thank you. Sean again. My friend had a cafe in London and she loved lockdown. People were ordering just tea and toast for £8 and would order for all of their meals from the cafe. Plus, you didn't have to do any washing up. I knew it would go like that, Sean. I knew it. I knew that it would work like that if you played it. And we did really, really well out of it. And business increased after the pandemic because the takeaway customers, before the pandemic, then Claycross, the other restaurant, was always busy on takeaways because they pushed for it. Ripley, we were a town centre restaurant. We had virtually no takeaways. I had a driver at Ripley who would come in, sit on his bum all day in the car, take his wages, take his food, and go home, and he wouldn't do a single delivery. That's how things used to be. When I came along, I worked on the takeaway side a little bit, and then when the pandemic hit, takeaways went mental, and now our business is at a much higher level after the pandemic because we held on to a lot of our takeaway customers. So yeah, I can't grumble about the pandemic at all. Exactly. Just think of it as a day out to revisit memories, and you just happen to be filming it. I'm so looking forward to it. So looking forward to it. And Sean's off. Video is uploaded, ready for 7 a.m. Bloody hell, 7 a.m. And I've caught up with the comments, so I think that I'm going to head off too, darlings. It is 20 to 1. I've probably bored you for long enough. And oh, God, this is going to be the long goodbye now, then, isn't it? So I'm not going to see you until Monday night. Because Trace has said I'm not allowed to do any live streams between now and then. So the next time I see you, darlings, assuming I get there, the next time I see you will be from a hotel room at the Premier Inn in Kumbach. That'll be fun. That will be fun. Unless there's 4G. There won't be 5G. But if there's 4G, I might give you a 10-minute live from the family mountain so that you guys get a sneak preview, you know, long before the actual video goes out. Okay, right, let's go, shall we? Let's get some supper, let's go to bed, and let's try and get ready for Monday, tomorrow. I've done nothing. The kitchen is clean. The front parlour isn't. The car is unwashed. It's still down the road. It's got no fuel in it. It's got about 4 quid's worth of fuel in it. Oh, God. I think the term is woefully underprepared. God almighty, is Mustard doing another one tomorrow? There's no stopping the man, is there? He's doing 2 live streams at bloody hell. Mind you, if I had those numbers, I would too. Fair play to him. Oh, and the last thing is, I'm going to miss Mustard. I'm genuinely going to miss Mustard. It's going to be a mustardless Monday. And I love my mustard Mondays. Oh well. Okay, darlings, right. Have a safe and peaceful night. Have the best Sunday that you can. Enjoy your Sunday lunch, whatever you have. Hope the weather isn't too beastly for you. I just want to keep on talking because I don't want to face the fact that I've got to face the fact that I haven't prepared for Monday. Right, go. All right, darlings. Much love to you all, and take great care of yourselves. See you on Monday night in Wales, and not like before in Wales, Welsh Wales, South Wales, my home. See you then. But you, and indeed, bosh.